Good morning, boys and girls. Today we are going to be working with story problems. So our learning target is I can identify the operation, adding or subtracting needed, and solve the word problems accordingly using what you already know about addition and subtraction and using the strategy that helps you to solve the problem the most. So you'll know you're successful when you followed the criteria for adding and subtracting word problems, highlighted important words if it helps you to join or separate or compare, and then followed the criteria for regrouping when necessary. So what is the deal with story problems anyway? Well, story problems are a way of presenting a problem within the context of a story. So you'll read a story, there'll be some characters in the story, you'll learn a little bit about some things that you know and some things that you don't know. And the point is that you have to figure out what you don't know. And sometimes you use addition to find that out, and sometimes you use subtraction. So after you read a story problem, the first step is to kind of retell the problem in your own words. So you're going to kind of think about it, ask yourself, who are my characters? What's happening in this story? What do I know? What don't I know? Then you're going to decide, are things coming together? Are they being separated? Is a part missing? Am I comparing things? And that'll help you determine which operation and which strategy to use. So let's do some practice together. Let's read this problem. Kelly and Heather are training to run a race. Kelly ran 18 miles and Heather ran 13 miles. How many miles did they run all together? So I know that Kelly and Heather are the characters in my story. So I'm going to start by kind of retelling the story. Okay, so I know that Kelly and Heather are going running. They like to run and they're going to train to run a race. So I know Kelly ran some miles and Heather ran some miles. And the question is, how many miles did they run all together? So I know that I'm joining how many miles Kelly ran and how many miles Heather ran. So Heather and Kelly's miles are being put together, so you can use addition to find the value, the ending value. So let's add these values together. So I can start with 18. And hopefully on your paper it'll be nice and lined up. Okay. And 13. Okay, I'm going to try and line it up, but it's a little bit harder on the computer. So I'm going to start in my ones place. When you're using the stacking strategy to add, you always want to start in your ones place. And 8 and 3 together. I know 8 and 2 is 10, so 8 and 1 more makes 11. 11 is made up of 1 1 and 1 10. So I'm going to put the 10 over here with the other 10s. And so I have 10, 20, 30. So I put a 3 in the tens place to represent that 30. And so I know that all together they ran 31 miles. So going back to our success criteria, we read the problem, we kind of retold the story, and then we figured out what operation to use, and then we solved it according to what strategy we thought was appropriate for that one. All right, so let's do another problem together. Max and Luke are making a dinosaur from Legos. Max uses 54 Legos and Luke uses 18 Legos. How many more Legos did Max use than Luke? So again, I'm kind of thinking my way through it. Who are the characters in my story? I know the characters are Max and Luke. They're doing some building. They're building with some Legos. They're both making a dinosaur. Max uses some Legos and Luke uses some. I know that Max uses more than Luke. The question is, how many more? And when you're trying to figure out how much more one value is than another, you're comparing the two things. You're saying, he's using this much and he's using this much. How much more is this? So in order to figure out how much more this is, okay, I know I'm comparing, so I can use subtraction to find the difference. So again, I'm going to use my stacking strategy. You can use whichever strategy you would like that makes the most sense to you. I'm going to stack up my numbers. I have 54, and I'm going to, since I'm comparing, and I'm going to use my subtraction as my operation. Please forgive this horrible handwriting here. So I have 54, and I'm taking away the 18. okay, to figure out how much extra Max used instead of Luke. So I know I have in the ones place, I only have 4 ones, and I need to take 8 ones out of it. So I'm going to go visit my tens place. I'm going to take this 5, which stands for 50 in the tens place, and I'm going to make it a 4 in the tens place, which stands for 40. So I'm taking the 10 that was here, and I'm going to move it over here with my 4 ones I already had. So I already had 4 ones, and so I'm adding that 10 to it to make it 14. So let's kind of look up here at this. I started with 54. Now I have 40 and 14. So I still have 54 at the top. This 4 in the 10 stands for 40 and 14 ones. And 40 plus 14 ones is still 54. So I didn't take anything away. I just shifted 10. I shifted 10 from the tens place over here to the ones. So now I have a problem that I can subtract. And I know 14 minus 8. I know I can start at 8 and count up to 14. And I say 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And I know the difference is 6. And now I go over here to my tens. I have 40, take away 10, which is 30. So I'm going to put a 3 in the tens place to stand for my 30. And so my difference is 36. So I know that Max used 36 more Legos than Luke did. So going back to our success criteria, we know that we read the problem. We kind of retold the story in our brain. Who were the characters? What was happening in the story? And then we figured out what operation to use. Okay. And then we solved. So we used whatever strategy. Remember, you can use whatever strategy makes sense to you. All right. Last one, I promise. Rachel has $51. Some money is in one pocket and the rest is in the other. She has $27 in one pocket. How much money is in the other pocket? So I'm going to go back and sort of retell this story. So I know that Rachel has some money. She has $51. Lucky girl. And some of her money's in one pocket, some's in the other. So I know one pocket and I'm looking for the other pocket. So this reminds me of parts and wholes. I know how much I have all together and I know one part. So I know I can use a part-whole model to help me. Excuse me. Here's my part-whole model. So I can fill it in. I know that Rachel has $51 altogether, and I know part of that in one pocket is 27. And so the part that I don't know is what's in the other pocket. So when I know a part of this 51 and I'm looking for a missing part, then I can take the 51 and I can take the 27 out of it to figure out what would be missing. So I'm going to kind of do that on the other side. 51. I'm going to take out the part that I know to find the missing part. So I'm going to line up my place values, line up my ones place and my tens place. I know I have 1 1 and I need to take out 7 ones. I can't do that because I don't have enough ones. So I'm going to go to my 50. I'm going to make my 50 a 40 and take the 10 that I'm moving over here, and I had 1 already. So I started with 51. Now I have a 4 that stands for 40 and 11. I still have 51 up here. 40 and 11 make 51. So I'm going to find the difference in 11 and 7. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that is 4. And then I have 40, take away 20, which is 20. So a 2 in the tens place stands for 20. And so the difference in the other pocket was 24. So I know I can fill in my other part now with 24. So I know both parts that come together to make that total of 51. Okay, so let's revisit our success criteria. We know we read the story, we kind of retold the story in our own words, and then we picked a strategy to help us. With this problem, the strategy that helped us was kind of using that part-whole model because we knew some parts. We didn't know all of the parts. We knew the whole and we knew one part. Okay, so let's revisit our learning target. Can you identify the operation need to solve word problems and then use your addition and subtraction? I think you can. So good luck, boys and girls, on your practice with your teacher today.